This is Chapter 3, Erosion and Deposition, Section 2, Water Erosion. Walking in the woods in summer, you can hear the racing water of a stream. Before you see the stream itself, the water roars at its foam as it foams over rock ledges and boulders. When you reach the stream, you see water rushing by. Sand and pebbles tumble along the bottom of the stream. As it swirls downstream, the water also carries twigs, leaves, and bits of soil. In sheltered pools, insects such as water striders skim the water's calm surface. Beneath the surface, a rainbow trout swims in the clear water. In winter, the stream freezes. Chunks of ice scrape and grind away at the stream's bed and banks. In spring, the stream floods, then flows of water may be strong enough to move large rocks. But throughout the year, the stream continues to erode its small parts of Earth's surface. Runoff. Moving water is a major agent of erosion that has shaped Earth's land surface. Erosion by water begins with the splash of rain. Some rainfall sinks into the ground, some evaporates, or is taken up by plants. This force of a falling raindrop can loosen and pick up soil particles. As water moves over the land, it carries these particles with it. This moving water is called runoff. Runoff is water that moves over Earth's surface. When runoff flows in a thin layer over the land, it may cause a type of erosion called sheet erosion. Amount of runoff. The amount of runoff in an area depends on 5 main factors. The first factor is the amount of rain an area receives. A second factor is vegetation. Grasses, scrubs, and trees reduce runoff by absorbing water and holding soil in place. A third factor is type of soil. Some types of soil absorb more water than others. A fourth factor is the shape of the land. Land that is steeply sloped has more runoff than flatter land. Finally, a fifth factor is how people use the land. For instance, a paved parking lot absorbs no water, so all the rain that falls on it becomes runoff. Runoff also increases when a farmer cuts down crops. Since this removes vegetation from the land, generally, more runoff means more erosion. In contrast, factors that reduce runoff will reduce erosion. Even though deserts have little rainfall, they often have high runoff and erosion. Because they have few plants in wet areas, runoff and erosion may be low because there are more plants to protect the soil. Reliefs and gullies. Because of gravity, runoff and the material it contains move downhill. As runoff travels, it forms tiny grooves in the soil called rills. As many rills flow into one another, they grow larger, forming gullies. A gully is a large groove or channel in soil that carries runoff after a rainstorm. As water flows through gullies, it moves soil and rock with it, thus enlarging the gully. Through erosion, gullies contain water only after it rains. Streams and rivers, gullies join together to form a larger channel called a stream. A stream is a channel along which water is continually flowing down a slope. Unlike gullies, streams rarely dry up. Small streams, also called creeks or brooks, as streams flow together, they form larger and larger bodies of flowing water. A large stream is often called a river. Tributaries. A stream grows into a large stream or river by receiving water from tributaries. A tributary is a stream or river that flows into a larger river. We learned this in social study, guys. For example, the Missouri and Ohio River are tributaries of the Mississippi River. A, din, a drainage basin or watershed is the area from which a river its tributaries collect their water. Reading checkpoint. What is a tributary? Erosion by rivers. As a river flows from the mountain to the sea, the river forms a variety of features. Through erosion, a river creates valleys, waterfalls, floodplains, meanders, and oxbow lakes. Rivers often form a steep mountain slope. Near its source, a river is often fast-flowing and generally follows a straight, narrow course. The steep slopes along the river erode rapidly. The result is a deep V-shaped valley. Waterfalls. Waterfalls may occur where a river meets an area of rock that is very hard and erodes slowly. The river flows over this rock and then flows over the softer rock downstream. As you can see in Figure 6, the softer rock wears away faster than the harder rock. Eventually, a waterfall develops where the softer rock was removed. Areas of rough water, called rapids, also occur where a river tumbles over hard rock. Floodplain. Lower down on its course, a river usually flows over more gently sloping land. The river spreads out and erodes the land, forming a wide river valley. The flat, wide area of land along a river is a floodplain. A river often covers its floodplain. When it overflows, it banks during floods. On a wide floodplain, the valley walls may be kilometers away from the river itself. Meanders. A river often develops meanders where it flows through easily eroded rock or sediment. A meander is a loop-like bend in the course of a river. As the river winds from side to side, it tends to erode the outer bank and deposit sediment on the inner bank of a bed. Over time, the meander becomes more and more curved because of the sediment a river carries. It can erode a very wide flood plain. Along the part of a river course, its channel is deep and wide. Meanders are common. The southern stretch of the Mississippi River is one example of a river that meanders on a wide, gentle sloping floodplain. Oxbow lakes. Sometimes a meandering river forms a feature called an oxbow lake. As Figure 7 shows, an oxbow lake is a meander that has been cut off from the river. An oxbow lake may form when a river floods. During the flood, high waters find a straighter route downstream. As the flood waters fall, sediments damp up the ends of a meander. The meander has become an oxbow lake. Reading checkpoint. How does an oxbow lake form? Deposits by river. As water moves, it carries sediments with it. Anytime moving water slows down, it drops or deposits some of the sediments. As the water slows down, fine particles fall to the river's bed. Larger stones quilt rolling and sliding. Deposition creates landforms such as alluvial fans and deltas. It can also add soil to rivers' flood plains. In Figure 10, you can see these and other features shaped by rivers and streams. Alluvial fans. Where a stream flows out of a steep, narrow mountain valley, the stream suddenly becomes wider and shallower. The stream slows down. Here, sediments are deposited in an alluvial fan. An alluvial fan is a wide, sloping deposit of sediment, formed where a stream leaves a mountain ridge. As its name suggests, this deposit is shaped like a fan. You can see an alluvial fan in Figure 8. Deltas. A river ends its journey when it flows into a still body of water, such as an ocean or lake, because the river water is no longer flowing downhill. The water slows down at this point. The sediment in the water drops to the bottom. Sediments deposit where a river flows into an ocean or a lake builds up a land formed called a delta. Deltas can be a variety of shapes. Some are arc-shaped, others are triangle-shaped. The delta of the Mississippi River, shown in Figure 9, is an example of a type of delta called a bird's foot delta. Soil on floodplains. Deposition can occur during floods. The heavy rains or melting snow can cause a river to rise above its bank and spread out over its floodplains. When the flood water finally retreats, it deposits sediment and new soil. Deposition of a new soil over a floodplain is what makes a river valley fertile. Dense forests can grow in the rich soil of a floodplain. The soil is also perfect for growing crops. Reading checkpoint. How can a flood be beneficial? So I'm just going to read from Figure 10. Waterfalls and rapids. Rapids are common where the river passes over harder rock. V-shaped valleys. Near its source, the river flows through a deep V-shaped valley. As the river flows, it cuts the valley deeper. Floodplains. A floodplain forms where the river's power of erosion widens its valley rather than deepens it. Meanders. Where the river flows across easily erodes sediments, it channels bends from side to side in a series of meanders. Beaches. Sand carries streams downstream by the river spreads along the coast from beaches. Tributaries. The river receives water and sediments from a tributary, a smaller river or stream that flows into it. Oxbow lakes. An oxbow lake is a meander cut off from the river by deposition of sediments. Bluffs. Erosion forms cliffs called bluffs along the edge of a floodplain. Valley widens. As the river approaches sea level, it meanders more and develops a wider valley and broader plain. Delta, where the river flows into an ocean and depths. There's going to be another video for the rest of this chapter. Thank you and bye.